worry or decision? Let's go ahead and test yourself. If you'll go ahead and flip back to the test. And on moment 2, making a deep commitment to your core, does my mission statement act as my compass for life? Do I live my life by the map and values and principles that I have laid out for myself? Do I drive my own bus? Or have I given away the keys? How deep is my commitment to my values and my principles? If you'll go ahead and score yourself, and let's write in, when I have made that deep commitment, what that really gives us is an inner power. Let's go back to the 5 elements of truth. Moment 3 is about alignment. And this is definitely getting more difficult. Alignment. What I need to align are my thoughts, my words, and my deeds. Thoughts, words, and deeds. Put those 3 things into alignment. There was a quote that was by Harry Emerson Fosdick, and he said this: "No life ever grows great until it is focused, dedicated, and disciplined." Focused, dedicated, and disciplined. If we think about that, focused, dedicated, and disciplined, it kind of reminds me of a 1981 film that was the Academy Award film in 1981, which was Chariots of Fire. And if you'll remember that film, Chariots of Fire, you remember that there was the lead player who was Eric Liddell. Now, Eric Liddell was a Scottish minister who was preparing to go on a mission. He was very dedicated, focused, and disciplined in his spiritual beliefs. But he was also a great runner. And he made the decision that he would try out for the 1924 Paris Olympics. He dedicated himself for 1 full year of running, and you know what? He qualified. He qualified for the 100-yard dash, 100-meter dash. Well, do you remember the movie, Chariots of Fire? What happened when he got on the boat and he sailed over to France? Do you remember? He found out that the race was on what day? Sunday, the Sabbath. And this was a day that his core principles said that he gave to God, and that was not something that he was willing to do, was to take the day that he had given to his higher power to run on that day. And so he made the decision that, A, he couldn't run, or B, that he would have to go to the French officials and request that he would be able to run on a different date. Now, to do this, he had to go through the British officials, who would then talk to the French officials. However, the British nationals were still upset at Joan of Arc. You know, blame Joan. It's always a woman's fault, right? And they couldn't lose their national pride and ask France for a favor, because they had lost a long time ago, and that would not happen. And so what the British officials decided to do was to ask Mr. Liddell to bend his values just this one time. And they did this by bringing him into a large, beautiful ballroom. You hear the beautiful sound, and there was this wonderful waltz going on. And the British officials decided to really enhance this by bringing in the future King of England, the Prince of Wales, bringing him into a very palatial room, sitting him down so that there was a lot of power in that room. And they recommended to him very strongly that if he was a man of Scotland, that if he was a man of Great Britain, that it would be very important for him to know what he should put first. And he came back and he said, "I will not run on the Sabbath." He says, "God first, then my running." "I will not run on the Sabbath." About that time, there was a knock on the door, and another runner who had just won a gold medal came in. Oh, it's just a beautiful scene. He came in and he said, "I've already won my gold medal." He said, "I'll do anything to see you run." He said, "Take my race on Thursday." Now, it was a 400-meter race. Now, the officials all agreed that it was okay for him to run that race. But he had trained for the 100-meter race. He hadn't trained for the 400-meter race. And as they agreed upon this in the movie, came back and it said that Mr. Little was a true man of principle, a true athlete. His speed was a mere extension of his life force of who he was. Separating his running from his principles would have destroyed his speed. He won the race. I like the way that W.H. Murray says it this way. He says, "Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always creating ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. The moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too." How many people know this to be true? Now, alignment really has a lot more to do with continuing to work with my thoughts, words, and behavior. I really like what Gandhi was a wonderful example of looking at thoughts, words, and behavior. There was one particular speech that Gandhi was talking to the House of Commons. And as he spoke to the House of Commons, here's a man who is able to take a very unruly group, and he spoke for 2 hours without any notes. I wish I would be quite that lucky. And he inspired this group for over 2 hours. And what had happened is that the British had come in to India, and they had said that the British could come into any household, they could take out any woman and do anything they wanted to that woman. And that if anyone disputed the British officials, that the men would go to prison, and there they would stay for the rest of their life. One of the men stood up and he said, "If one man comes and touches my wife, I will kill him." And Gandhi came back and he says, "I praise such courage. I need such courage." He was a very mild, meek man. He was that way because he had his core principles. He was committed to them. And the words coming out of his mouth, the thoughts coming out of his mouth, his behavior was so congruent that you could trust in what he said. I need such courage. I praise such courage. He said, "In this cause, I too am prepared to die. But my friend, there is no cause for which I am prepared to kill. Whatever they do to us, they will attack. We will attack no one. We will kill no one. They will imprison us. They will fine us. They will seize our possessions. But they cannot take away our self-respect if we do not give it to them. I am asking you to fight against their anger, not to provoke it. We will not strike a blow, but we will receive them, and through our pain, we will make them see their injustice, and it will hurt, because all fighting hurts. But we cannot lose. They may torture my body. They may break my bones. They may even kill me, but they will only have my dead body because they will not have my obedience." At that moment, the mood in the room changed. And all of a sudden, you saw all of these men standing up and clapping for Gandhi, Gandhi, Gandhi. And they followed Gandhi because they knew he was telling the truth, a deeper human truth that was a moment of truth. He said this. One of the officials came up to Gandhi's secretary afterwards, and he says, "How is it that Gandhi can stand up and talk so eloquently for hours without notes and inspire people?" And the secretary said this. He said, "You and I, we think one thing, feel another, say a third, and do a fourth. So we need notes and files to keep track. But what Gandhi thinks is what Gandhi feels, is what Gandhi says, is what Gandhi does. They are all the same. He does not need notes to keep track. interesting if he also said this. He said, one man cannot do right in one department of life while he is occupying or doing wrong in any department, any other department. Life is one indivisible whole.